Good morning. This is White Raptor News Ministries. I hope that everybody is having a pleasant day. I know that a lot of you are off to work right now. Some of you are getting ready for work. Others, might be stealing a day off from work. Who knows? Whatever the circumstances are, I'd like to welcome you to the channel. I try to help Christians and atheists and others alike understand that this Bible here is written for a particular type of people, okay? This Bible was written from prophets of a nation of people, okay? This nation of people that the prophets were written for are Israelites, all right? And all of us combined as a hive, the Christian nations and stuff, the United Nations, have all been tricked and had the wool pulled over our eyes and thinking, how many times have you heard the human race, the human race, the human race? Everybody on this plane of existence has you believing that there is a human race, one human race. It couldn't be any further from the truth. Okay, how could there be just one race of people if you have one God that's telling a nation of people to stay away from another nation of people? That there is a telltale sign that we're not one human race. That there's two different races of humans. Well, two different races. One race is humankind and the other race is a human. One race is mankind and the other race is a man. Man and mankind are not the same. What do I mean man and mankind aren't the same? We're going to be hitting Deuteronomy chapter 32. This is the song, the hymns that Moses wrote down for the Israelites that they would sing to their Lord. Oh, I'd feel so blessed, seriously blessed, if there's any Israelites out there that could find me this song and let me hear it sang from Israel, the hymns of this song. But before we jump into this lesson, is what I want to show you. Genesis chapter 1 verse 27 Bible Hub. Genesis chapter 1 verse 27 Bible Hub. See, we're not one human race, folks. You got to understand something here. Genesis chapter 2 verse 7 Bible Hub. 1 Corinthians 15:45 Bible Hub. So we got two creations. You got to understand that one of these creations isn't real. It's make-believe. It's not real. It's an image. Okay, this one that's created in an image is to shade. This one created in an image is a phantom. Okay, we all know here at this channel, if you've been here long enough, what is a phantom? Put it down in the comment section for me. Go ahead. It is an illusion. What is the illusion? The illusion is a false impression of reality. It's made you think that this reality that you live in is real, and it's not. This reality we live in is fake. This God here that created man in his image is a fake God. This God is an Elohim. And Elohim is a plural of Eloah. It's gods in the ordinary sense, but specifically used of a supreme God. There's a supreme God that is over this God that is creating a man. I'm not saying it. You guys go with your own theology. I believe that this God here is the same one as this God here. Genesis chapter 1 verse 1 Bible Hub. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was void and without form, and darkness was over the deep. Okay, well, that was number 2. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. That's 1. Then number 2 is the earth was formless and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God, this lower God here, this God Elohim. Okay, this is where you're getting your triplets. Your God said, let us. This is what you're saying right here. Then God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, to rule over the fish in the sea. And then it drops down here. So God created man in his own image. This God here, Elohim, plural of Eloah, is the same God here, Elohim, plural of Eloah. This God is not the supreme God. It was something that was used of a supreme God. What are you saying? I'm saying that this God here, God supreme, was permitted to breathe into the image. Revelations chapter 13, verse 15, Bible Hub. Revelations chapter 15, verse 13, Bible Hub. Revelations chapter 13, verse 15, Bible Hub. Sorry, guys. The second beast was permitted to give breath to the image of the first beast, so that the image could speak and cause all who refused to worship it to be killed. So, this is the second beast, this image, because it's a phantom. Okay? Put it down in the comment section. What's a phantom? Okay? Whatever this God is that created a man, this man is a phantom. This man that's created here is an idol. This man created, this God created himself, male and female. This God Elohim, 430 of the Strong's Concordance, which is a plural of the supreme God, Eloah, gods in the ordinary sense, but specifically used of the supreme God. And if you look at this word Elo, you have multiple gods right in this word here. You have El, you have Elo, and then you have Eloah, Wah, almost Yah. So you have plural of Eloah, gods in the ordinary sense, but specifically used. This is so important to understand, all right? So now you know that Elohim were permitted to create this plane of existence. What are Elohim? Okay, here Elohim is God, especially as used in the Hebrew text of the Old Testament. But this, I'm saying that there's a difference between this God here, Elohim, all right, and the supreme God. There's a difference here. So anybody who might know this, this hymn, or have heard Israel sing this hymn, I'd be delighted if maybe if you knew it. I don't even would know it. There's no title to the song, so this is, I'd be honored if somebody would put it down there. So the song, the hymn that was written down for Israel to sing to the Lord is, "Listen, you heavens, and I will speak. Hear, you earth, the words of my mouth." Okay, so this Lord has a mouth. I don't believe the Supreme Spirit of Truth has a mouth. The mind doesn't have a mouth. The mind doesn't have a body. Therefore, once again, a clue right here that the words of my mouth, that this is a man. Let my teachings fall like rain, and my words descend like dew, like showers on the new grass, like abundant rain on tender plants. I will proclaim the name of the Lord, Yahweh. Oh, praise the greatness of our God, Elohim. He is the rock. His works are perfect, and all his ways are just. A faithful God, Elohim, who does no wrong. Upright and just is he. Remember, Elohim means many gods because it's plural, right? I'm showing you guys because it's plural right here. Oopsie daisy. Oopsie daisy. They couldn't figure that one out for me, huh? consisting of, containing, or pertaining to more than one. Pertaining to or involving a plurality of persons or thing. The plural number. Okay. Grammar noting or pertaining to a member of a category of numbers found in many languages, indicating that the word has more than one referent, as in English, men, or more than two referents, and in Old English, G meaning you. So plural means many. Okay? The reason why, if we come over here and we pop to thesaurus and we type in plural, it tells us that plural is many right here. And I like this particular setting here, which calls it a weak match. I don't believe it's a weak match. I think that this is the strongest match. I think that many should be above multiple, but multiple works as well. The reason why many works is because Elohim are plural of Eloah, which are many, and you have the word man. I'm trying to tell you that Elohim are mankind. They're not the Supreme Spirit. The Supreme Spirit, everything stands outside this plane of existence. I will proclaim the name of the Lord, Yahweh, and praise the greatness of our God, Elohim. He is the rock. His works are perfect, and all his ways are just. A faithful God who does no wrong, upright and just is he. They are corrupt and not his children. To their shame, they are warped and crooked generation. A warped and crooked generation. Crooked, right here, touches Ecclesiastes 7:3. The Lord is saying, consider the works of God, who can make straight what I have made crooked. The crooked generations. Well, who? The generations of who? The generations of the Gentile. They are corrupt and not his children. Who's corrupt? The Gentile are corrupt and not Israel, his children. Here, see, but this is the problem. That the children of Israel have become corrupt. It's that simple. You're supposed to be coming out of captivity, as the Bible says. If I was born into this plane of existence and this world hasn't fallen apart in the next 20 years, and I was born back in, and my memory wasn't wiped out, it wasn't warped, it wasn't taken from me, and I came back into this world, born back into this plane of existence with my mind intact. As a child, do you realize how much power you would have? How much power that to come into as a 7-year-old with the years that I know of this Bible and what I could do to the world and people inside the world if I was born back into this world without a memory wipe? Well, that's why you're given a memory wipe when you're born into this world. Because you have to relearn it all over. There's only one way to escape this plane of existence, folks, and that is to repent with a contrite heart. And I say do the best you can to turn away from sin, because this is a hellacious, fleshly, spiritual battle that we're in. Okay. The crooked generations, is this the way you repay the Lord? You foolish and unwise people? Is he not your Father, your Creator, who made you and formed you? Remember the days of old? Consider the generations long past. Ask your fathers, and he will tell you, your elders, and they will explain to you, when the Most High gave the nations their inheritance, when he divided all mankind. So what are we talking about? This is talking about Genesis, when the Most High gave the nations their inheritance. Genesis, their inheritance, mankind. When he divided all mankind, he set up boundaries for peoples according to their numbers of the sons of Israel. Mankind is not Israel. Mankind are those that are created on the sixth day of creation. I told you, mankind is not the same as man. Man and mankind are different. Human and humankind are different. Mankind and humankind have been breeding with one another, and we've been breeding out vampires and demons. This is why this plane of existence loves vampire movies. And I wrote a vampire book. I sure to hell did. When I was lost and in my sins and tweaking out of my head and freaking doing drugs and running around chasing after pussy, yeah, I was fucking lost. That book is a masterpiece on this plane of existence. If I was to publish my book, it would probably do so well I wouldn't know what to do. My friend tells me, no, don't do it. No, if it's not going to help the people, don't do it. But what's trippy about it is the 10th and 11th chapter are it's all about the metaphysical world. It's all about life after. So I think that book writers and stuff that write these dark things are being channeled from something of the dark side. Something dark was in me when I wrote that vampire book, because I used other gods' names. It's the weirdest thing. I mean, when the scales are removed from your eyes and you see how this plane of existence operates, it sets a blaze underneath your rear end, that's for sure. Okay. For the Lord portions is his people, Jacob his allotted inheritance. So what happened in the creation story is mankind had their inheritance. That was something outside of Eden, outside of the garden. All right? That was theirs. That's this world here that we're living in right now. The nation's inheritance was this world here right now. Adam and Eve didn't come from this world here. They were cast out into this world here. So this world here is hell, okay? And where they came from was heaven, the heaved up place. Contact with the higher mind, not the hive mind. The higher mind is the spirit of truth. The hive mind is mankind, is the body of Christ, is the flesh. Okay? He set up boundaries for the peoples according to the numbers of the sons of Israel. For the Lord portioned to his people, Jacob, his allotted inheritance. So Jacob's inheritance was pretty much, it's been a battle to keep things. Remember, folks, I've read this whole Bible to you now. And the Bible said that Esau will be underneath of Jacob's hand. But nowhere in the Bible it says that Esau will be ruled by Jacob. Can you show me? Anybody who can show me in the Bible anywhere where Jacob ruled his brother Esau, I'll give you $100. Send me your address alongside of it. Show me in the scriptures, in this Bible here that I'm reading for you, the King James Bible or the NIV Bible. The NIV is what I'm reading out of. If you can show me anywhere in that Bible, I will send you $100. In a desert land he found him, in a barren and howling waste. He shielded him and cared for him. He guarded him as the apple of his eye, like an eagle that stirs up its nest and hovers over its young, that spreads its wings to catch them and carries them aloft. The Lord alone let him, no foreign gods was with him. The Lord alone led him. No foreign gods was with him. Well, what are the foreign gods, folks? Well, us, idols. Those that are created on the sixth day of creation. Let's see. Foreign idol 12, the end of 12. Right here. These. God said, let us. This man created in an image is an idol. The man on the sixth day of creation is an idol. God says not to worship any idols. No one's ever, you know what? I go into atheist rooms. I've come to a conclusion. These people are terrified of me. They're so fucking scared of me. They would never debate with me. I'm so sick. If I had a fucking dollar for every challenge that I've made to a Christian to debate with me or an atheist to debate with me, I'd probably have about $2,000 in the bank right now. All and none's ever has arisen to the challenge. No, and these are channels that do debates with people all the time, man. Do debates with Ray Comfort. They do debates with Doug Batchelor. They do debates with Mark the Messenger. All these debates take place, but they won't let me do a debate because I know who the devil is. You see, an atheist wants to argue with you all the time. Show me evidence of God's existence. It's the most, to even argue with an atheist it's the most stupid thing you could do, first of all, because if you don't know God, you can't teach somebody of God. And if the Supreme Spirit created something crooked, then what's sitting there telling you that God doesn't exist is crooked. So how are you going to teach somebody that's crooked? They're not going to hear you. It's a continuous hamster wheel that takes place between the atheist and those that worship the Creator. This is why atheists debate God, Jesus is God, because both the atheist and Jesus Christ argument are in error. Jesus isn't supreme God. Jesus isn't the Creator. Jesus was something that was used of the supreme Creator. Elohim created this plane of existence, and then later on, a bad Elohim created a man in his image. This man created in an image was Jesus, confirmed in 1 Colossians 1:15. So let me say it one more time. This person here on the sixth day of creation is an idol, folks. Okay? It's that simple. This is the beast right here. This is the devil that's being created by God. God created man. This man is the devil. This man is Jesus in his own image, because an image is a phantom. And put it down in the column. What is a phantom? Come on. Someone put it in the column for me. Go ahead. Tell me what it is. So do not take on foreign gods. Okay? All the gods of the Gentile are not Israel's God. All the gods of the Gentile want Israel to drop your God and worship their foreign gods. And this is what's got a stick up your ass and a yoke around your neck. It's that simple. He made him ride on the heights of the land and fed him with the fruits of the field. He nourished him with honey from the rock and with oil from the flinty crag, with curds of milk from herds and flocks, and with fattened lambs and goats, with choice rams of Bashan and the finest kernels of wheat. You drank the foaming blood of the grapes. And that sounds... I know that you get foam from grapes, but it sounds kind of, why the foam? Why just not the foam? You drank the foam from the grapes. You drank the foaming foam, the flowing foam, blood of the grapes. Jeshurun grew fat and kicked, filled with food. They became heavy and sleek. They abandoned the God who made them and reject the rock, their Savior. They made him jealous with their foreign gods and angered him with their detestable idols. These idols, man. Idols. This book is so simple to understand. You know, I would be terrified of Israel's God. Seriously. I don't worship the name of Israel's God by Yahweh, by far. I don't worship any name. But there is one, I worship the God that put the breath of life on one creation, not the God that made an image of himself. Okay? An image of yourself, it connects to Jeremiah 16:19 Bible Hub. O Lord, Yahweh, okay, proper name of God of Israel, This God here is not the same God as the God for the Gentile. The gods for the Gentile are fake gods. They're not real. They're illusions. They're phantoms. They're beasts. My strength and my fortress, my refuge in the day of distress. The nations here are the Gentile nations. Who are the Gentile nations? Those nations, the beast nations in Genesis 1:25, when God creates the beast of the field, the Gentile. When God created the Gentile of the field, each according to their kind. God created the United Nations, each according to their kind. God created the beast nations, each according to their kind. God created the Gentile nations, each according to their kind. They are also troops of animals. Well, what are your troops of animals? They're all the United Nations military troops, those that march in ranks. They are also known as flights of locusts because they consume and devour. They are the destroyer of nations right here. The nations will come to you from the ends of the earth. Why? Because the nations have always been created at every corner of the earth. This plane of existence is sin. God created evil first on the 6th day of creation, and then he created a man. Now, one of my dear, dear friends, Anaya Obadiah, 1 Corinthians 15:16 Bible Hub. Let's see, 15 or 14, well, 15. Give me a second. I think I got the wrong parable up. For if the dead are not raised, then even Christ has been raised. Yeah, that's not 1 Corinthians 15:40. Oh, okay. It's, let's see. 1 Corinthians 15:46 Bible Hub. The spiritual man, however, was not first. Okay? But the natural man. The natural man is flesh. The spiritual man is spirit. It's not flesh, folks. You understand that? The natural is what's flesh, and then the spiritual. So, evil, mankind, was created first on the 6th day of creation, and then the spiritual man, Adam, was created. Listen, the first man, Adam, look, you have two Adams here. So it is written, the first man, Adam, Jesus, created on the 6th day of creation, who was created in an image of himself, became a living being. It's the last man, Adam, that became a life-giving spirit, created in Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, which has the breath of life breathed into this one's nostrils. That's not the case with those that are created in an image of God. Those that are created in an image of God are phantoms, they're ghosts, they're devils. That's what they are. So that I was just pointing that out for my friend. If you happen to see this, Anaya, let me know what you think about that. That the spiritual man, however, was not the first. Because I know that you're saying that in Genesis chapter 1, I think it's 11, 9 through 11, that this, when it's talking about the seeds, that you're saying that this is when the children of Israel was created on the 3rd day of creation. And I was really looking at that, and I read that parable many times, and then it led me to this parable here. Okay, it led me to the spiritual, however, was not first. So God, the Supreme Spirit, didn't create a human first. He created humankind. He allowed another God, to create beasts. And this is why Israel's God is being told not to stay. I don't care what any of the atheists say. Atheists can't stand Israel's God. They hate your God. They hate God, period. But they'll debate. You know, it's funny. I just said this the other day. I love smacking people in the face with this. You're an atheist. You just ask them. Somebody says they're an atheist. You just ask them straight out, you're an atheist, huh? And when they reply, yeah, I'm like, yeah, okay. So do you celebrate Christmas then? They'll look at you with this fucking dumb fucking stare like, well, yeah. Well, then you engage in a pagan ritual of a lower dimensional God. Jesus is a lower dimensional God. He was sent, he was used. Just like everything is used to the glory of the Supreme Spirit of truth, the living one on this plane of existence. Okay. They sacrificed to false gods, which are not gods, gods they had not known. They, Israel, sacrificed to false gods. You started sacrificing the false gods, which are not gods, gods they had not known, gods they recently appeared. They came from nowhere, gods your ancestors did not fear. You deserted the rock who fathered you. You forgot the God who gave you birth. If I'm misinterpreting this wrong, I'm not accurate, incorrectly, then please somebody put it down. I'm saying here they sacrificed to false. I know that the Gentile sacrificed to false gods, which are not God, gods they had not known. Well, Israel, you know your God. You just know it inside you, man. You feel it. Every time you're doing something you shouldn't be doing, man, you have that voice in your head rocking you. You know it more than anything else. Everybody on this plane of existence has that voice in their head. That voice in your head that is talking to you is not the Supreme Creator, folks. The voice in your head that's talking to you in most cases is the devil, because he was the one that was given power. So when you're driving by a school and you happen to see a girl, man, and she's in the shortest shorts that are climbing up her crotch, man, and you can see everything practically painted onto her body and stuff, that's a temptation for you walking down the street. You look down on that and you keep your eyes off of it. That's called control. That's self-control. That's a temptation. That girl dresses like that because she doesn't have any self-respect or self-worth. She's a worthless piece of trash. I'm telling you, if a woman wears a dress down to her ankles, those sundresses, that's the most appealing, attractive, beautiful thing that a woman can wear. Just the fabric thick enough that you can't see anything, but you can see the shadow of the woman's leg if she's in the sun. Not you can see her coochie and all that stuff. Not sheer that you can see through, but a flower patterned thing where just lets you see just a little bit, man. That's smoking hot to me, man. I'm telling you. That's my weakness. A woman that's unclothed walking down the street with the halter top and her nipples sticking out to the world, man. I look down at that stuff. That shit's trash. That'll cause you nothing but headaches and pain. That's the shit that God wants you to stay away from. Okay? A child like that's probably been raped from her parents. You know? Sorry. God, your ancestors did not fear. You deserted the rock. You fathered you. You forgot the God who gave you birth. The God that gave you birth. Not the God that materialized everything. The God that brought you into life. Birth to me is a birth through a womb. We're talking about somewhere along the line, man, that the spiritual world was changed for us through the physical world. Where does that boundary lie within us? Within the pineal gland. The pineal gland is the answer. That's what brings us into the physical world. This is why they have it with the eye of Horus. This is why it's on the back of the dollar bill. They're telling us, they're giving us, you got to understand, Satan is obligated to give us the truth. So he gives us the truth in your science fiction movies and stuff, and you guys watch them as entertainment, not realizing that there's darker meanings inside of Hollywood's movies that they're showing you. There's meanings to these shows, folks. Okay, they're showing you, they're telling you what you are. You are a beast. You are the seed of Satan, and you're out there by the billions. I'm telling you that if there's almost 8 billion people on the plane of this existence, then I'm telling you fucking 7 billion, 7.5 billion of them souls, 7.5 billion of them are all of the devil. Your whole family could be of the devil. Okay, the numbers of those that worship and serve the Spirit of truth, the living God that gives the breath of life, are very few. So many people put a name to the Spirit of truth. I just keep it simple. I'm not calling, when I pray to the Spirit of truth. I ask for the Spirit of truth to be on me always, to walk with me and guide me, not let my flesh be led by my flesh. You know, let me be a part of the higher mind, not a part of the lower hive mind. The Lord saw this and rejected them because he was angered by his sons and daughters. I will hide my face from them, he said, and see what their end will be. For they are a perverse generation, children who are unfaithful. Perverse. Okay, so now your God thinks of you as perverse. He's angry with you, sons and daughters. He rejects you. He hides his face from you. He tells you that you are shameful, and you guys just don't hear it. Why, though? Because you started worshiping other gods. Over and over and over, Israel. This is about the worship of other gods. This is about the worship of idols. There's so many of you Israelites that are bowing down to idols. You have been lied to. Worthless idols. Israel, stop with the worthless idols. Stop worshiping those other gods that were created on the 6th day of creation. They are condemnation. This is what it means. They will condemn the nation. Condemnation. Condemn the nation. You go with the nations, you will be condemned with the nations. I will make them envious by those who are not a people. I will make them angry by a nation that has no understanding. For a fire will be kindled by my wrath, one that burns down to the realm of the dead below. Woo! The dead below. The dead below. And when Jesus died on the cross, where did he go? He went to the dead below. He had all the sins of the world on him. He died and went to hell for 3 days. It will devour the earth and its harvest and set afire the foundations of the mountains. So right here, look, for a fire will be kindled by my wrath, one that burns down to the realm of the dead below. What's the realm of the dead below? The foundations. This place here, it will devour the earth and its harvest. So the realm of the dead below is the earth, right? Freaking there. I will devour the earth, which is the realm of the dead below. It's really weird how this Bible's written. It's like this parable, man. I mean, sometimes I think these little parables and stuff should be or passages, because when I was on that show talking with the atheists and stuff, I said, okay, the parable Revelation 13 18, or I think it was 22:13, I said 22:16, something, one of those. Anyways, it was, I am the Alpha, the Omega, and I'm starting to tell him, I'm the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last, the beginning. And then he just real softly whispers, well, I don't think that's a parable. So he interrupted me is what he did. He interrupted me but for calling a parable in the Bible. And then he knocks me on the thing. And then at the very end of all of it, what does he say? Watch. Okay, so here I am. I'm starting off, okay. I haven't even started talking. They've already interrupted me once. And then they interrupt me again. Because, look, if I'm on a phone and I'm talking to you and you say something, because there's like this little time delay that takes place, probably about a 2 or 3 second time delay between what I say to them and what they say to me. So it kind of, maybe not quite that much, maybe only a 1 or 2 second, but there is a delay between what's going on. So I say to them, start talking about Revelations 22:13, and I call it a parable. I say, so in the parable, so here, watch. Oh, I thought that I turned this. Okay, hold on.
Well, good. Okay, 22:13 of Revelation says, I am the Alpha, the Omega, the first and the last, the beginning and the end.
That's a parable, but
what is it?
I don't think that's a parable, but, all right? And then I'm talking still, right? And then I hear like a second later, he comes, I hear that. I don't think it's a parable. I heard him say something, but I didn't hear what he said. And then he goes into his long spiel here, and he talks for another minute, telling me that it's not a parable, that it's Jesus. Okay, look, definition of parable: a simple story used to illustrate a moral or spiritual lesson as told by Jesus in the gospel. Revelations 22:13 Bible Hub. As told by Jesus. Okay? Look, I am the Alpha. This is Jesus coming. This is Jesus speaking. So this would be a parable. I am the Alpha, the Omega, the first and the last, the beginning and the end. So right here, what I was telling him, that I was interrupted again when he told me that it was a parable. He said, so he goes anyways. He says, well, what are you talking about? And this is what he interrupted. I was trying to explain to him that the Alpha comes from a Hebrew origin, and it is the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet. Okay? This doesn't say the first letter of the Greek alphabet. It says of Hebrew origin, the first letter of the alphabet. Hebrew origin is the Aleph. The Alpha is also the first letter of the Greek. So for them to say that Alpha is the first letter of the Greek alphabet, they're correct. But the first letter of the Greek alphabet was written from the alphabet of the Aleph, the Hebrew alphabet, and that's where it came from. I am the Alpha, the Omega. Now this one here says that the last letter of the Greek alphabet. The Omega is the last letter of the Greek alphabet. This tells you that the Hebrew language and the Greek language have been intertwined with one another. That's what it's saying. And that the language that they speak there in the province of Israel today is not the true dialect. So he cut me off, he interrupted me, and then he starts spewing all his garbage about why this isn't a parable, and then he says this, watch.
That is not considered a parable. That particular reference is not in the slightest by any biblical scholar, as far as I know, considered a parable. That's the only time that parables are actually used. Like Moses talking to the Israelites is not a parable. But I don't know that it's terribly important. What were you saying about the parables?
What were you saying about the parables? Well, if I was incorrect and it's not a parable, why wouldn't he correct me right there? Why wouldn't he call it what it was? Why wouldn't he say, well, what did you want to say about the passage? What did you want to say about the revolution? What did you want to say about the allegory? What do you want to say about what Jesus was saying? You see, this is the numbnuts of these people that don't believe in God. They can't even talk. If they could only hear themselves talk, this is why I have to point it out to you how stupid you sound. Literally stupid person. What do you want to say about anyways, what do you want to say about the parable, dumbass? Anyways, it will devour the earth and its harvest and set afire the foundations of the mountains. I will heap calamity on them and spin my arrows against them. I will send wasting famine against them, consuming pestilence and deadly plague. I will send against them the fangs of the wild beast. The wild beasts are what? Right here. Strong's Concordance number 66. Living or growing in the fields or woods of animals that are wild and savage, of countries wild, uncultivated, unreclaimed, of men and animals in a moral sense, wild, savage, and fierce, boorish, and rude, of any violent passion, vehement, furious. So it is wild, savage, and fierce. The wild beasts, number 66, are wild, savage, and fierce. They're talking about the Gentile here. I will send against them the fangs of the wild beast. God is going to use us, the beast nations, as the venom of vipers that glide in the dust. He's going to destroy you with us. You see, if you participate in the things that the Gentile do, then God is going to destroy you. He's going to, you are no longer serving your God, you're serving the pagan gods. So that's the voice that's in your head that's constantly always telling you, hey man, that pops up something that, let's go drinking and party tonight. Oh, let's go snort some lines tonight. Let's get funky tonight. Let's party tonight. Let's screw tonight. Let's fornicate. Let's fuck tonight, man. All those things are of the devil. They're not of the Spirit of truth. The Spirit of truth says that he doesn't tempt you. So then if the Spirit of truth doesn't tempt you, then it's got to be something other than the Spirit of truth, which is the spirit of lies. That's that evil freaking voice in your head that tells you to steal the fucking candy at the store, okay? Tells the fucking drunk to walk inside of the store and steal a fucking couple of beers, all right? Look, I don't condone anybody stealing anything, nothing, ever. But if a man is fucking starving and he needs fucking food and he's down and out and he goes inside of a fucking grocery store and he steals a bag of cereal or something like that, something he can stuff up inside of his jacket, or goes and steals a piece of meat from the fucking meat farm and stuffs it in his jacket so he can cook it later or something like that, I'm not opposed to somebody that does that. I'm opposed to these fucking, these idiots that go inside and I don't even know that it's real actually. I mean, seriously, if I was a store owner and everybody came in and started fucking stealing all the shit inside of the store like that, I'd lock the fucking store down. Seriously. They can see why they're running around the store fucking thinking that they're gonna ramstack everything, man. I've done shut the fucking mall down. That's what I do. You ain't walking out of the fucking store with anything. Call to the police. Everybody that's in there that grabbed anything going off to jail, man. You see, there's a difference between somebody who steals to survive and somebody who steals to make money. Okay, a big fucking difference. These people that go in groceries or go into these Michael's stores and stuff, and they go in 20 or 30 at a time, and they fucking, these classrooms, who coordinates something like that? That's an evil coordination right there, man. That could probably be a schoolroom teacher, man, telling you, look, guys, everybody who knows about the secret society at this school, man, meet me afterwards. The secret society, that we're going to go in here and we're going to ransack Michael's today, man. Just go in there and start stealing shit. And then everybody there just happens to be a fucking people standing around with cameras recording it. It's all fucking perfect. I don't even believe half the shit anymore. I believe all that stuff that these guys are going in and stealing is all returned to the stores, and none of those people go to jail because it's all an act. They do it hoping that you will start thinking, fuck it, I'll go in there and I'll do that shit too. That's why they do it. They want you to think that these people are getting away with it. There isn't anybody getting away with this kind of behavior, folks. If you're getting away with it on this plane of existence, you're going to pay for it in the plane of existence after, when your eyes are staring at your freaking creator, and then you realize that you're burning like freaking radiated nuclear bomb going off inside of you, man, and that heat just keeps getting hotter and hotter and hotter. That's when you're going to know the wrath. I will heap calamity on them and spin my arrows against them, as he says. I will send against them the fangs of the wildebeest, the venom of vipers, and glide in the dust. In the streets the swords will make them childless. In their homes terror will reign. The young men and women will perish, the infants and those with gray hair. I said I would scatter them and erase their names from human memory. Erase your names from human memory. There's a difference between human and mankind. I will erase their name, Gentile, from human memory, from Israel's memory. He's going to destroy the Gentile. You understand that? He's going to fucking wipe you off the face of the earth. He's going to crush you like a fucking bug. Okay? The God of this realm. The God that the Gentile hate, Yahweh, is going to squash you like a bug. But I still don't believe that Yahweh is the supreme spirit of truth. Because Yahweh's a man. But I dreaded the taunt of the enemy, lets the adversary misunderstand and say, our hand has triumphed. The Lord has not done all this. They are a nation without sense. There is no discernment in them, boy, and there isn't. There isn't. I mean, when the scales come off and you go into this spiritual battle with the Gentile, you go into spiritual battle with Christians and Muslims and atheists, you can clearly see that they make absolutely zero sense. They're scripted. They say the same thing over and over, prove to us of God's existence. Christians say the same thing. They speak that name, Jesus Christ. Well, if you just believe in the name of Jesus Christ, Jesus came so that he could save all of life on the earth. All these are all of the devil, everything. This plane of existence is ran from the devil. So why do you think that the devil would allow anything of the true upright God to be spoken of? He doesn't. He hijacked this Bible and he changed all the scriptures. If only they were wise and would understand this and discern what their end will be. Us, the Gentile. This is why I'm contrite. I'm humble. I'm shameful. I watched an atheist the other day. She says, well, I'm sorry you feel in such shame. You know, it's a terrible way to feel, you know, about your God making you feel in such shame. No, I don't. I feel in shame for my transgressions against his laws and commandments. I didn't realize that I was transgressing until the scales came off my eyes. And then once God reveals to you what a dirtbag you've been living your life like, that's when you feel your shame. I didn't have any shame till then. Atheists don't have any shame. Christians don't have any shame. Well, I have plenty of shame, and I have plenty to be shameful of. How could one man chase 1,000 or two put 10,000 to flight? Unless their rock had sold them, unless the Lord had given them up. Folks, this is why I'm such a dangerous person today. I'm not dangerous in the sense that I would harm mankind or a man. I'd never harm a human, that's for damn sure. There's a couple of Gentiles I'd like to wrap my hands around or put a fucking in a chokehold and choke the fucking life out of them, but not a human being, because a human being isn't a murderer. A human being isn't fornicating. I take that back. I take that back. I'm way wrong there. Those that love God, that do what is right and walk righteous in his laws and his commandments, they are blessed. Okay? All the others that are of God, the stiff-necked people that refuse God and turn to idols and stuff like that, you are going to be fuel for the fire. For their rock is not like our rock, as even our enemies concede. Their vine comes from the vine of Sodom, from the fields of Gomorrah. Their grapes are filled with poison, and their clusters with bitterness. Their wine is the venom of serpents, the deadly poison of cobras. meaning it's telling you right here, folks, how poisonous your wines, your alcohols, and what they do to you. Okay? There's nothing that drinking alcohol does other than loosen you up, spread your legs, pull your dick out, and start going to town. That's all alcohol does. It's what it was created for. It was created to loosen everybody up. Could you imagine if nobody drank on this plane of existence? You guys would all be thinking, oh, how boring is this? No, I prefer to walk through the pain and walk through the suffering. I prefer to drink. I prefer to lay down with multiple people. I prefer to love somebody. I prefer to fall in love with somebody and be with somebody and accept the fact that they're going to destroy me and they're going to lie to me and they're going to cheat on me. And then I'm going to get all pissed off about it and decide, you know what, this isn't the one. And then you're going to move on to the next one and he's going to do the same thing and she's going to do the same thing. And that's what it is. It's bitterness and poison because you guys are the ones that create all this shit. Have I not kept this in reserve and sealed it in my vault? Ooh, a vault? Well, what's the vault? Us in a vault, the vault of heaven. This is precept upon precept, line upon line. We're getting to a point in the Bible, folks, where I'm going to be able to really start navigating back and forth between the two Bibles and showing you the consistencies and the inconsistencies, showing you myself approved. All you need to do is listen to the message. I'm not saying that you need to take everything that I say at face value. There's things that I could be wrong about in this Bible. The Supreme Creator could have created the heaven and earth. But from what I'm showing you, that's not what it's saying. It's saying that the Supreme Creator subcontracted his work out for something else to create the heaven and earth. He allowed Elohim to create the heaven and earth. He allowed Elohim to create what was good and evil. It's like Donald Trump. He is an owner. He is a creator of Donald Trump Towers. But he subcontracted all his work out. He hired an architect. He hired the employees, he hired the generals, he hired all the people to do the work, his subcontractors, and he subcontracts all the work. Though Donald Trump didn't get out there and swing the frickin' hammer himself, he was the creator of Donald Trump Towers. Such is the same thing of this plane of existence here. The Supreme Creator gave power. He subcontracted his work out to a lower dimensional God and allowed this God to create this plane of existence. And that's how I'm reading the scriptures. That's how I'm seeing it. You got to understand there's other gods. The God of Israel is saying that you're not to worship any other gods. So clearly there's other gods. Who are the other gods? Jesus Christ is telling us, is it not written in your law that I've said you are gods? You are gods. You are gods. It's you that are gods. Say it. Jesus told you that you are gods. When he came in the garden, a beautiful, gorgeous man, more beautiful than any other beast of the field that had ever been created. He was gorgeous. He's the one that came in and coaxed Eve into eating from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. It is mine to avenge. I will repay. Let's see, did I miss anything? I have not kept this in reserve and sealed it in my vault. Yes. It is mine to avenge. I will repay. In due time, their foot will slip. Their day of disaster is near, and their doom rushes upon them. The Lord will vindicate his people and relent concerning his servants when he sees their strength is gone and no one is left, slave or free. He will say, now there are their gods. Now where are their gods? The rock they took refuge in. The gods who ate the fat of their sacrifices, the gods that ate their fat. You gods that ate your fat. I just told you who are the gods. You are the gods. You are the ones that eat the fat of your sacrifices and stuff. You're the ones that turn away from the spirit of truth. You're the ones that do blood sacrifices. This whole damn nation doing blood sacrifices. The gods who ate the fat of their sacrifices and drank the wine of their drink offerings. Let them rise up to help you. Let them give you shelter. See now that I myself am he. There is no God beside me. I put to death and I bring to life. I put to death and I bring to life. I have wandered and I will heal. I'm sorry. I have wounded and I will heal. And no one can deliver out of my hand. No one can deliver out of my hand. My hand is not fucking a pronoun. He, she, my, he, they, him. It's not fucking plural. My is me, myself, and I. It's I. No one can deliver out of my hand. I lift my hand to heaven and solemnly swear. Well, hold on. If Supreme Spirit is in heaven, why is somebody lifting their hand to heaven? This is a flesh suit. This is Yahweh. I lift my hand to heaven and solemnly swear. As surely as I live forever, when I sharpen my flashing sword and my hands grasp it in judgment, I will take vengeance on my adversary and repay those who hate me. I will make my arrows drunk with blood, while my sword devours flesh, the blood of the slain and the captives, the heads of the enemy's leaders. Rejoice, you nations, with his people. Rejoice, Gentile nations, with God's people. For he will avenge the blood of his servants. In other words, if you're doing shitty things to the one God of Israel, then you are going to get served some vengeance. You're going to get a double portion. If you dash the child's head against a rock, when it's your turn, your head will be dashed against the rock. If you threw a baby in the fire inferno, then you will be thrown in the fire in the inferno. If you sacrificed and did blood sacrifices, then your blood shall be as a fucking blood sacrifice in the life after. For he will avenge the blood of his servants. He will take vengeance on his enemies and make atonement for his land and people. Moses came to Joshua, son of Nun, and spoke all the words of this song in hearing of the people. When Moses finished reciting all these words to all Israel, he said to them, "Take to heart all the words I have solemnly declared to you this day, so that you may command your children to obey carefully all the words of this law. They are not just idle words for you. They are your life. By them you will live long in the land you are crossing the Jordan to possess." Moses to die on Mount Nebo. On that day, same day, the Lord told Moses, "Go up to Abarim, range to Mount Nebo in Moab, across the Jericho, and view Canaan, the land I am giving the Israelites as their possession. There on the mountain that you have climbed, you will die and be gathered to your people, just as your brother Aaron died on Mount Horeb and was gathered to his people. This is because both of you broke faith with me in the presence of the Israelites at the water of Meribah, Kadesh, in the desert of Zin, and because you did not uphold my holiness among the Israelites. Therefore you will see the land only from a distance. You will not enter the land I am giving to the people of Israel." So that's kind of a shitty thing, you know. I think what he's talking about, the water, broke faith with the men at the presence of the Israelite, was because God had told Moses to strike the rock one time, and Moses struck the rock twice. So that seems like a just payment, just because Moses struck the rock twice with his staff instead of one time with his staff. He wasn't allowed into the land. So and then God, he killed the man for two of Isaac's sons for offering an unauthorized fire sacrifice. He burned them, fried them up, charred them up into pieces. You know, it seems that he let Lot and his two daughters escape Sodom and Gomorrah only for the two daughters to rape their father later, which is a bullshit story as well, because I know as a drunk man that when you're drunk, you don't get your junk up. Okay? I don't care how much. If you're passed out, you're not getting a man's stuff to work. Okay? It doesn't work like that. A man has to be conscious and know that that act is taking place. And if a man is conscious and realizes that act is taking place, then he's going to know it's his daughters climbing on him. So either he knew that his daughters were screwing him, or he was passed out and the story's a lie. So which one do you think it is? Discernment, as the Bible says, is needed. There on the mount that you have climbed, you will die and be gathered to your people, just as your brother Aaron died on Mount Oreb and was gathered to his people. This is because both of you broke the faith with me in the presence of the Israelites at the water of Meribah Kadesh in the desert of Zin, and because you did not uphold my holiness among the Israelites. Therefore you will see the land only from a distance. You will not enter the land I am giving to the people of Israel today. So there you go, folks. I truly, I love walking in the truth. I love sharing scriptures with you. I'm humble. I don't know everything about this Bible, but clearly I've figured out a few things. In fact, I've figured out a lot of things. Most things that I found out, were taught to me from Brother Rap the News. And since I've jumped into this Bible, I've learned a lot of things of the scriptures myself. The God of Israel, Yahweh, I don't know, seems to be pretty harsh. I don't think that that any God, it's not my God. Remember, this is the God of Israel. Yahweh's the God of Israel, but Yahweh's still a man. So I don't worship anything that's a man, Israel. Do you? Are you worshiping spirit? Are you worshiping man? And if you're worshiping the spirit, then is Yahweh spirit? Huh? How can God says that he's not a man? So if Yahweh is a man, then he can't. Is he a spiritual man? Is he a human? I don't get this. Maybe you could share with me. Help me to understand. Anyways, I hope y'all have a blessed day. Peace to all those that serve the Spirit of truth, the living God, the one that places the breath on you and can give you life, the one that can deliver you only by his hand. May his love, tenderness, and kindness be upon you, a blanket of warmth, security, and perseverance. Much love. This is White Raptor News Ministries.